This is just the most adorable little small town.
I think it's one of the best places to raise a family.
Well, what's nice about Cape May is that you could describe almost all of the businesses as mom and pops.
You want to go there and experience Cape May.
You have a problem, people rally, you feel the love, and you know how important we all are to each other.
Welcome to Cape May Trading Post at Dellas, a coastal community store.
All right, John, great to see you, man.
Colin, thanks for the invite. It's good to be here.
Thanks for being here, man. We're super excited about this project and to have you. I think the best way and how I like to start all these kind of episodes is to explain, to me, like I've never been to Cape May, or I have no idea where we are, and the 25-mile-an-hour winds that popped up out of nowhere, and the Atlantic Ocean, and the Delaware Bay, and so take us into where we are currently sitting from an outside perspective, and then bring us all the way in.
Well, my first week in Cape May, a bartender reminded me about the winds in winter, and here we are in a northeast gale kind of blowing up our backs. But Cape May, for a lot of people, is just like their happy place destination. As soon as they come across the bridge over by the Lobster House, come past that big gold sign into town, it's like everything they've been worried about or had issues with are back at home. They stay there. So it's just a place to come and unwind. You can be raucous if you want to be, or you can just be chill and set back.
No doubt about it. I think that's probably my favorite part about Cape May too, especially when I was a younger kid and my friends, coming down from, my mom's had businesses here since the 90s.
Forever.
And, I could be wrong there, it could be the 80s, but I think the 90s, I should know that. And it was where the Blue Pig is now. That's where her first store here was, in town in Congress Hall before the renovation. But neither here nor there. All my friends saying, "No, you got to go to Sea Isle and Avalon and Ocean City and all these places." And I was, okay, I get it. And then the older I got, I realized I'm not going over that bridge. I still refuse to go over that bridge because it is a happy place. It is a haven. Yeah. And to be sitting here on the Washington Street Mall, what's your first recollection of, let's say, the Washington Street Mall and then just Cape May in general?
Well, even in the 80s, when we would come down for like a week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks, it was always a requirement to stop, at your mom's store for the wife, or the Whale's Tail to pick up a stash of greeting cards to take back to Philadelphia. I'm a Philly guy at heart.
Yep.
So whether it would be to come down and go party boat fishing on the Porgy 3, catching bucket loads of weakfish and bluefish, or now just walking the mall and going to coffee time and grabbing a cup of coffee. It's all there.
Let's take it back to kind of what brought you to town in the first place, part-time, then full-time, and a little bit about your journey through this
Gotcha.
town.
So my original trips to Cape May were all fishing. Back behind where Lucky Bones is now, there were cabins that you could rent by the night.
Yeah.
And I came down with a neighbor who was a house painter, and we would go fishing all day on the Porgy 3 and go out blue fishing at night on another boat, and then sleep for a day and go fishing again, and then go up. There's a guy you should have on your show.
There you go, I love it.
He's a real Cape May local.
Perfect.
But then, just vacationing, over the years in the 80s and 90s. And then in 2004, I was actually working in New Jersey, but I didn't like who I was working for. So I responded to an ad to run a hotel in Cape May. Family gave me a lot of flexibility. I got very involved in the community. Being a Philly guy, I'm very neighborhood oriented. So I view Cape May as just one giant neighborhood in the bigger area of things. As I was managing the Victorian, there was a need for someone to run for president of the Chamber of Commerce. If you volunteer long enough in this town, you wind up floating to the top. So I was Chamber of Commerce president, as I say, a sentence of 3 years. That exposed me to everybody in town.
From a geographical standpoint, what do you think makes this place so special? Because I think there's something about mile zero, exit zero, Atlantic Ocean, Delaware Bay, the canal. It makes it unique. We have a zoo, we have a beach plum farm, we have multiple wineries. There's a sunken concrete ship.
Multiple breweries.
So it's unique.
I think we have more breweries per square mile than anything when it comes to New Jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's an overall, it's a climate. It's its own. We're actually, the outer plains in terms of like wine geography, outer coastal plain they call it. So whether it's the Cape May bubble or it's just the peninsula itself, it's just, there's no place else like it in New Jersey. Some people say we're the bottom of New Jersey. I prefer to say we're the foundation of New Jersey. It's just what it is.
Can you explain the Cape May bubble to those that know nothing about it?
So the Cape May bubble is a phenomenon where between the wind, the ocean temperature, the bay temperature, normally when severe weather approaches, as it comes across the bay, it just breaks up, and Cape May is protected. Some meteorologists have actually written about it and say it is a thing, but for Cape May people, you have to be here to experience it.
I firmly believe in it. Being off the Lobster House or off Mayors and seeing storms comes in, and you see it and you hear it and you know it's coming, and you can't see the lighthouse light anymore, and all of a sudden you think the town's going to get engulfed, and it just goes right over. See it go right into Wildwood, and it's fun to talk about, but it's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Small business plays a huge role in this town. There's no real chains. There's no big names, conglomerates in this big town kind of eating away at these small businesses. Like small local business people is really what this show's about. Business or not, it's about local, it's about Cape May, it's about the passion, the love for the town. But just talk about the impact of small business and some of the fun, cool small businesses that you love to support in this town.
Well, what's nice about Cape May is that you could describe almost all of the businesses as mom and pops. Some of the hotels have been in families for 50, 60 years. And some of the local, eateries, like I'm a big fan of the Seaview. I love going in, having a pint of Guinness. I mean, look at me, I've got Guinness on my face. But I also like going to the VFW, where it can be just a bunch of, it's almost like you're in a speakeasy. But I get my coffee at coffee time. I love shopping at Love the Cooke. My wife loves going to Les Silhouettes. I don't want to say how much money we've spent in there, but it's more than just bra fittings, I can tell you.
There you go. That's great stuff. The Cape May ghost stories, I've had a couple run-ins with them. I had a run-in right here at Les Silhouettes as a little boy before, when my mom, obviously was a business owner and operator down here. She is known for her work ethic and her passion. And it was late at night, let's say 9 o'clock at night. It's the summertime. She's running the lingerie store. I'm upstairs with my aunt and my cousin and my brother, and I think we were arguing over a movie we were going to watch because, you stay in the apartments here now. That's what we used to stay here before we had a home here.
Sure.
And I come downstairs and I can't find my mom, and I go into the store and I hear down the basement. So I go down the basement of a Lace. And it's small. I mean, it's a speakeasy vibe down there. And I pick up this big, she's hanging hangers, just organizing the crawl space for the next shipment to come in.
Sure.
And it's late at night, it's been a long day, I'm tired, she's definitely tired, I'm not really tired, I'm fake tired, she's real tired. And she's hanging hangers, so Mom, can I help you? So I take the hangers, I'm hanging hangers, I grab a bunch of them, one drops on the ground, I'm hanging them. I go get the one on the ground, my mom's to the left of me, the door's to the right of me, and on the right there's a railing, and there's a hanger like this, going up and down, like fast. 10 yards from her, 5 yards from me. And I'm like, oh, Mom, look at this. And I firmly believe a ghost picked up the hanger and went, again, 10 from my mom, 5 yards from me, and went and hung the hanger.
And spun it on the hanger.
And rumor has it there was someone on the roof. My mom had multiple interactions of them trying to wake her up at night when she would stay there working, and she would say, go back to bed, and they would never bother her. Two brother and sister, supposedly in the book, went there after the fire, and there was a pharmacy at one point.
Yes.
So that's kind of my ghost story, and ever since then, I've been a firm believer in it. And,
I've never had any personal experience with them.
Okay.
I've had people tell me, I talked to a lady on the lawn at Congress Hall one day, and she swears she hadn't been in the Brown Room, but somebody was following her around in the hallways. Ben Miller, a guy that runs the Cool Cape May Facebook page, he stayed at the Victorian one time and a photograph fell off the wall. And the wire didn't break, the picture hook didn't break. He swears that a ghost had to come in and lift it up and drop it down. Was it Harry Caseman? Who knows? You know, he's the fellow who built the place.
What's your favorite hidden gem in this town?
My favorite hidden gem, Mayor's Tavern. I love going there for the scallops. I can't often say publicly on Facebook that they have the best burger in Cape May.
They do, though.
They do. They do. And the service there is always top notch.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Alex and her team are awesome. What a great addition to the community. And I'm kind of biased to that side of town because we have a place there.
Right.
But it's my favorite part of town now, between the restaurants and the vibe and the water. And it's another great section of town. Part of town that you know also well about is the beachfront. You know, from working in the restaurant. I mean, in the
hotel
hospitality business. How's that changed over the years? Because I know it's gone through just crazy evolution.
Well, it is. The Cove is obviously, you know, one of the most popular spots. My personal favorite is going over the ramp at Mount Vernon, because I'm on that corner of where Mount Vernon and Broadway meet. So I'm 1 block to Mount Vernon, 1 block to Broadway. My guests all love Broadway Beach. There's a bit of a steep drop off, you know, the shore break that they talk about is a little bit iffy there. But in terms of anywhere from Broadway to the Cove, you can't go wrong.
No, you can't. Do you have a favorite customer story or a customer interaction from over the years, or a relationship, a friendship that's come out of just doing business in this town?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just got back from Scranton, Pennsylvania for the weekend. Long-term guests of my prior hotel who are still customers of that hotel. When I switched properties, people said it was like LeBron James trading teams because I was so popular, and it was kind of a shock. But like Jonathan and Jessica from Swoyersville actually invited us up to their home for the weekend. Visited half a dozen breweries in the Scranton, Swoyersville area, Wilkes-Barre area, because that's our niche. You know, he and I have that in common, and Jessica and my wife became good friends. So, and background story, when the Chamber of Commerce did the chili chowder cook-offs years ago, they were both at the event at the Grand Hotel. I took their photograph, wrote an article for the Star and Wave, and they, lo and behold, made the front page above the fold. She pulled that copy out from 2014 and said, "You remember the time you put us on the front page of the Star and Wave?" So it's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, that's great. Talk about the local news down here. Explain it to the outside world. There's a couple magazines, there's a little bit of paper, some radio.
So yeah, you have
Cape May Live's big.
several different genres. You have obviously Jack Wright's Exit Zero.
Yeah.
That's thriving. Hopefully the cost of newspapers doesn't get out of control. The Star and Wave has been around for forever. The editor just retired. I write a column every other week around town. That's going over well. There's, I have my blog, the Cooke Cape May blog. There's, WCFA is a radio station that's on constantly. They do all different types of music and programs. You can, and all of that you can stream online, so people can get it anywhere.
What's the next 10 years look like for this town? Because the town is growing, town is evolving, but still keeps its charming character better than, I would say, any other evolving, growing, tourist-laden town. It holds its infrastructure, it holds its pageantry, the things that we love so much in a Christmas parade or a St. Paddy's Day festival at the Seaview still continue, but with more people. What's the future look like in Cape May? How's it look like for you?
Cape May gets saturated in July and August. There isn't really any more room. There's only one more place for a big hotel to go if it ever gets, approved. If you look back, if you go back 10 years and say, where have we come in 10 years? We're constantly cleaning up and polishing and making improvements. The infrastructure will probably get improved. We're going to build a new desalinization plant at some point within the next 10 years, probably sooner. But I don't think the overall facade is going to change very much.
No doubt about it. You don't want it to.
Probably don't.
You don't want it to. What's the ideal day for Cape May for you? Day off. You got a fun day lined up. How are you planning that day?
So I'm a Wednesday off kind of guy. I'm usually 6 days a week in season, occasionally an extra day. My day literally starts with a walk on the promenade. You know, I'll go from the Cove to Convention Hall and back. I love going across the bridge for lunch over at Port. You know, the old harbor view. I mean, what a great improvement that had become. You know, maybe a couple of pops there, nice little lunch, and then back into town. You know, I kind of I like to cook. So I am not afraid of going to the lobster house, getting a couple of nice pieces of salmon. Did that last night. And, you know, just, I say I'm saving tourist seats in restaurants. You know, but, you know, it could be Port, Seaview, you know, and maybe the VFW, you know, just quiet places.
Yeah, there's plenty of those around here. You can find them. You can navigate here as a local in the summer if you know what to do.
If you come out like 6 a.m. in the summertime, you know, 6:30, take a walk, you might be one of only a half a dozen people. And it'll feel like off season to you. I've definitely been a big fan of that.
The 6 a.m. crew?
The 6 a.m. crew.
I don't know if I subscribe to that crew. I do now with the 6-month-old. I'm a part of the 4 a.m. crew. But I love it, and I can't wait to bring her down here, and wouldn't change it. So, Cape May, wrapping things up. Is there a story? Is there a time that you look back and smile in this town? Is there a day? Is there a month? Is there a year? Is there something that you're really proud of about this town, this community?
Well, in my 20 years, there's in like 2011, 2012, TripAdvisor named Cape May as like the second best beach destination in the world. It wasn't done from advertising, although as I became Chamber of Commerce president, we certainly increased our social media presence big time. So I think we got on the radar of a lot of people. Sometimes I joke and say that might have ruined Cape May because so many people started to come. But that, and the way we came through COVID as a community, everybody just pulled together. I can't tell you how many Zoom meetings we had with local businesses, hotel owners in Cape May. And then just, you know, improvising with outside seating, having this street closed down when Jeff Garnitis owned Finn's, and Michael with the mug, just having a tent over it so that people could eat outside and feel safe. I think the way we pulled through COVID is probably, you know, even though it was a dark time, Cape May still shone.
I would love to see the mall close after 12 p.m. Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 8 weeks in the summer from driving. Because like these crossroads, it's kind of
the side streets.
The side streets.
Right.
So people can walk, and I know it's great, and everyone's great with the crosswalk, but I think that was such an amazing community feel when it was closed because there was tables and chairs, and you know, I'd almost love to close it to the beach.
Yeah.
And allow people to walk down the street and allow kids to ride bikes. And almost, they close it sometimes for festivals and stuff down the back street here. Yeah. But that was always something I enjoyed.
Something I'd love to see happen at some point, because being a Philly guy, would be to have, imagine tables and chairs lined up and down the mall and have like a diner en blanc.
Unbelievable.
You know, just everybody dressed in white, come out, have dinner. The restaurants, each one could have their own menu. You know, people would pay $100 for a ticket to that.
Yeah. You can in this town. That's a nice thing too. I'll say this. This town is, you can find a little bit of something for anybody when it comes to a financial standpoint.
Absolutely.
You know, people, you see on Cape May Live, it's expensive or whatever it may be. You go to the Seaview and get a beer for $3, $2.50, right? You get a dinner for, you know, you go to a lobster house for breakfast for $6.50. That's a secret though. Don't tell anybody there's breakfast at a lobster house. You know,
and you could have dinner at that coffee shop and get the
can.
regular Lobster House menu.
Correct.
Don't tell anybody that.
When there's 100 people outside and there's no one at the counter, you could go in there. You could shop on the mall and take home a trinket or a momentum sorry, it's chaos here on the mall with the wind and the cars. You could take a little something home, and that's what I like too about Cape May is, you know, this isn't, it is tourist based. That's the juice of the place, right? That's where it starts. With
Absolutely.
catering to the visitors. But as someone who lives here, you can find joy and happiness. A couple quick hitters. By the way, you see booking.com, Cape May, #2 most welcoming town in the country.
That must be brand new. Did
It
that
is.
just break today?
It broke a couple days ago.
Well, see, I was out of town. I took
Number
my eye off the
2
ball.
most welcoming town, St. Augustine.
Is number one?
Number 1.
I love St. Augustine.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
Flagler and yeah, but that was interesting. Welcoming town. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's the people. It's the people who work here. It's the people who live here. I'm glad to hear that.
All right, quick hitters here. Let's do it. Favorite coffee shop.
Coffee time.
Favorite restaurant.
Lucky Bones.
Favorite bar.
Mad Batter.
Favorite beach.
Mount Vernon.
Favorite place to get breakfast.
Mad Batter.
That's a good one. That's my favorite Sunday brunch in there. Shout out to my boy Matt Danzy and Scotty Holden. Favorite ice cream spot.
Boy, I don't eat a lot of ice cream, so Charlie's ice cream on the mall.
If you could eat at one Cape May restaurant the rest of your life, where would it be?
Mad Batter.
I would say the Lobster House because of all the options.
Yeah.
They got a million things on the menu and the fresh fish, but the Mad Batter's fun. That's a cool place. That's another place that kind of captures the local scene a little bit, and you can get in there.
And they have 19 craft beers.
They do, yeah, they do.
19 craft beers.
Little live music
Yep.
sometimes.
Live music 7 nights a week. Open mic on Sunday nights,
Okay.
led by MQ Murphy. It's one of the reasons why I was such a big fan of the Complete Unknown movie, because it kind of resembles what happens in Cape May on Sunday nights. The next Bob Dylan could be sitting in there and you wouldn't know it.
Where's your favorite place to shop on the Washington Street Mall?
My favorite place to shop on the Washington Street Mall would be the Whale's Tail.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
I was hoping you didn't say where your wife's was because I know you've talked
Right.
about that too. All right, in closing, your favorite holiday to
St.
celebrate?
Patrick's Day.
Your favorite Cape May holiday?
Yeah. In the winter, it's just us, but everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's
Where
Day.
will you be where will you be celebrating that, and what will you be doing?
I'll go back and forth between Willow Creek Winery over the weekend, and then on Monday I'll be at the Seaview most likely.
And what goes on there?
Oh, a couple of bagpipers and about 1,000 people cram into a place that holds 100. It's a good vibe.
It's a great vibe. John, thanks for your time, man.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.